side splits. We're doing 45 to 60 minutes of side splits and hip mobility training, and we do this every single day to practice consistency, to build a little bit of community, because it's really hard to do this by yourself. It's hard to suffer on the floor, work on these stretches, and just be like, my legs. So I try to bring good vibes to the internet, help make everything a little bit more entertaining, a little bit more enjoyable, so that we can make a whole bunch of progress towards better movement, towards some side splits together. Oh, it is. What time is it? I think it's Saturday night now. So we just did a show this morning, Saturday morning, and I am still feeling it a little bit. Might have gone harder than I thought. So I may or may not go as hard now, but we haven't warmed up, so I don't know if that's true. Let's warm up together. We're going to do some hip cars. Hip cars are all about moving your legs through their full range of motion here at that hip level. And they look a little bit like this. We're going to bring this knee up directly in front of us as high as we can. Then we're going to open up that leg directly to the side as much as we can. Keep the knee high. We're going to rotate that leg. Oof. And bring it as high as possible. If you're struggling a little bit with balance, feel free to grab something, lean on something, get that leg horizontal first, and then keep on trying to bring that ankle higher and higher and higher and higher and higher up. From there, we're going to bring that leg down and back, flex the hamstrings, flex the glutes, pull that leg back, and that is one rep. We're going to do 10 on the left side. We're going to do 10 on the right side. Let's go. High knee. Open, ankle up, down and back. High knee, open, ankle up, down and back. High knee, open, ankle up, down and back. That's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 hip cars. I'm gonna come over here in just the audio just a second, because I have a little dial for this microphone. I can crank up the volume that you are hearing. I just want to make sure it's turned up. Okay. It's already maxed out, so let's go and do the other side. High knee. Open, ankle up, down and back. High knee, open, ankle up, down and back. High knee, open, ankle up, down and back. I think that's 3, 4. High knee, open, ankle up, down and back. High knee, open, ankle up, down and back. If you're feeling a little bit of weirdness in your low back when you bring that leg down and back, try to focus on moving from the hip and not bending from the back. That puts a lot of pressure in your low back. One other way you can help with that is to flex your core a little bit and lock yourself into a position where your low back is not moving as much. 7, 8, 9, and 10. Those are hip cars. Going forward. Take a quick second, breathe, grab a sip of water. My throat is very dry. And we're going to go backwards. Let's go. To go backwards, we're going to hit all the same main points. Leg back, side, ankle up, ankle down, but it's in reverse order. So if it's your first time joining in, it might be a little bit confusing to figure out these new body movements. Don't worry, we're going to do them together. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down, knee. All right. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down, knee. That's 2. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down, 3. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down, knee. 4. 4. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down, 5. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down, 6. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down, 7, back, side, ankle up, ankle down, 8, back, side, ankle up, ankle down, 9, last one, back, side, ankle up, ankle down, knee, that is 10 for the left side. Going backwards, we got 25% left, just this final leg. We're almost done. If your heart rate is up, if you're breathing a little bit harder, good. That's what this is for. That's what the warm-up is for. If your hips are feeling like they're finally starting to get a little bit looser after you did the forward ones, that's also good. That is why we go forward and back. All right, let's go. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down, knee, back, side, ankle up, ankle down, knee, back, side. Oh, I'm off balance. Start over. Side, ankle up, ankle down, knee. That's 3. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down, knee. 4. We got 6 more to go. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down, knee. 5. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down. 6. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down. 7. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down. 8. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down. 9. Last one. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down. 10. That is hip cars. That's our first warm-up exercise. We just did 10 reps, left, right, forward, back, and we're ready to move on into warm-up exercise number 2. This one is a little bit more chill. You don't have to struggle quite as much. We're going to fold into a little bit of an L shape right here at the hips. You should feel stuff happening in your hamstrings, but for most of us, you might start feeling a whole bunch of low back tension right here. Just breathe, relax, see if your low back can chill out. And once that sensation kind of starts going away and you realize, oh man, it's mostly in my hamstrings now, we're ready to move on. We're going to fold forward and try to bring the belly button down towards the ground. All right. And we're going to chill. We're going to hang out here. We're going to just breathe, take it nice and relaxed for a couple of seconds. Warm up those hamstrings, get them prepared mentally to do some work. Give them a light massage. And let's go. We're going to start bending one knee, straighten out the other, bend the other, straighten out the other. And we're going to keep on trying to bring the belly button down lower and lower and lower to the ground. So we're doing something that looks like this. One knee bent, one knee straight, one knee bent, one knee straight. And you can experiment with how wide your legs are when you do this. It'll change the feelings a little bit. Maybe add a little bit more of a stretch on your inner thighs. You can bring your legs together, whatever you want. The first couple, you're going to feel really bad. You're not going to move very much. And your hamstrings are going to be like, oh man, what the heck is going on? You might feel some stretching, tingliness right underneath your glutes. That's normal. That's where your hamstrings become tendons and attach into your pelvis. And then, you might feel weirdness in your hamstrings themselves. That's also pretty normal because we're trying to get into a pretty stretched out position and then force them to move a whole bunch in those stretched out positions, which they basically never do. You might be feeling some tingliness in your calves, in your ankles, and your toes. That is often called nerve stretching, nerve flossing, and that is also relatively normal. If you're not doing anything super explosive and you're just kind of grinding away at this movement, slowly making a little bit of progress, trying to bring your belly button down, that nerve flossing is fine. That tingly sensation is a-okay. All right. The goal here is to do enough of these where you suddenly feel like they're moving a lot smoother and you're able to just do them maybe a little bit faster with less resistance. And it might not happen today, but you should be noticing that maybe it's a little bit easier to move. Maybe you're shaking a little bit less when you're going from side to side. And I think we're going to do 3 more seconds and then move on. 3, 2, 1. All right, let's move on. Oh, take your time coming back up into a standing position. Because when you're upside down and bent over like that, sometimes the blood rushes to your head, and when you stand back up, it takes a second. From here, we're gonna shake out our legs, let the tingly sensation in our toes go away, and take a quick breath, then get right back into that same position. We are folding forward, legs decently wide apart, left knee is bent. From here, what we're going to do differently is it's going to be a thoracic rotation. Our left hand, the bent knee hand, is going across the body, pushing against the outside of the straight leg, and we are helping rotate our chest. I want you to extend the arm, and I want you to look at the arm, and I want you to help push your chest open so you can rotate your spine. Look over that shoulder and come on back down. Other side. Right knee is bent, left leg is straight. Right hand is pushing against that left leg, opening up your chest and extending that arm behind you. When you have reached the deepest part that you can reach, try to do a relaxing exhale and see if you get a little bit deeper. All right. Oh, that is one rep. We're going to do 5 of them in total, so we have 4 more. Let's go. Left knee bent, right leg straight. Push open that chest. Extend that arm behind you. And down. Other side. That's 2, 3 more. Left knee bent, right leg straight. Push against the outside of the right leg with your left hand. Extend the right arm into the air behind you. Look at that hand with your eyes. Your neck is rotated. And come on down. Right leg straight. Left leg bent. Push and rotate. I think that's 3. 2 more. Open. This is not a fast or explosive movement, so don't do it that way. That probably puts way more pressure on your back than it needs. So take it nice and slow and gentle. If you can't reach super far today, that's fine. Nice and gentle. I can't remember, was that 4 or was that 5? Since I can't remember, we'll just do an extra one in case. Here is number 5, possibly 6. Oh man, okay, that's some thoracic rotation. If you did it nice and slow, your shoulders, your shoulder blades might be feeling a little bit tired with that reach. If you don't do very much with your spine that includes rotation, you might have noticed that maybe you didn't reach quite so far back, and maybe that's something you want to work on. Rotation is really useful because your back, especially the middle portion of your back, the thoracic spine, which is what the thoracic rotations are named after, is designed to do a whole bunch of stuff. You're able to kind of bend left, bend right, bend forward, bend back, rotate, and, you know, like most of our body parts in regular life, we don't use a lot of those functions. So they tend to break down and be not so good at doing very many things. I recommend you spend a little bit of time trying to give your back some love because it's kind of holding your whole entire body up. Cool? All right. Outside of these body back conversations, usually we do 45 to 60 minutes of live side split stretching and hip mobility work. And if you're just joining in for the first time, we do this every single day at 9 p.m. Eastern to practice consistency, to build a little bit of community, and hopefully make stretching a little bit more fun, make this workout a daily part of your life so that you can make a little bit of progress towards your hip mobility and your side split goals. If that sounds fun, hit follow, hit subscribe. If you are not decided quite yet, stick around. We got lots more workout to do. This is only the second warm-up exercise. Let's get into the third warm-up exercise. It is called the Cossack switch. And in general, it looks a little bit like this. We're going to put this heel down and that heel also down. We're going to try and sit back onto almost our butts. That's the direction we're going. And we're going to come on over to this side and hang on this side and then come back. That is an advanced Cossack switch. It's really convenient that there's a couch right here. For most of us, it's going to be really hard to get into that position. So I recommend that you spend the first couple of seconds watching me break down the stretch and the exercise to make it a little bit easier, but also hang out in this kind of position. I want your knees to be leaned forward, your heels to be a little bit off the ground, and I want you hugging your knees to your chest so that you're working on folding here at the hip. You're working on stretching out the calf right here. And while you're doing that, I'm going to talk about different variations of the Cossack switch that you can try to do in just a little bit. All right. You don't have to follow along just yet. I'll tell you when, and we'll do 10 reps of the Cossack switch together. All right. The number one thing that I care about is you try your best to keep your heels down. So both your outside, the not weighted foot, and the pushing foot. You got to come up with better names than that. Both heels are down. If you don't have enough hip mobility, if you don't have enough ankle mobility, you might be stuck sort of in this position, and that's absolutely fine. From this type of position, you can try to put your hands down. Maybe you don't need your whole hand. Maybe you can just do your fingertips. Maybe you can just do a couple of fingers, depending on how much support you need. From here, I want you to scoot and bring your butt over to the other side and try your best to keep your heels low. If you can, sit back as deep as you can and come on back. If that's all you can get out of this, that's a great place to start. As you get more advanced, you might be able to sit a little bit deeper into that stretch, and you might notice your knees are hurting a little bit when you're scooting over from side to side. To make it a little gentler on your knees, if you first come up, come over, and then sit down, that will take a little bit of pressure off your knees, and it will make it a little bit easier to do. As you get more advanced, you can stop using your hands. You can keep leaning over, and I think that's enough information to get us started. I'll add a couple bit more variations as we do them. So come on out of your tucked ball position. Place your hands in front of you. Extend that leg out to the side. Try to sit back a little bit so that both heels are now down. And let's go. We're doing 10 reps. Bring that hip to the other side. Try to sit down into it. Deepen that stretch for a second. Come back. That's 1. And back. And 2. And back. Sit. And back. Sit. That's 3. If you're feeling pretty strong, you don't need your hands anymore. You can maintain that same angle we were just practicing. And you can keep on going across and back. That's 4. If you're feeling really strong, you can sit up a little bit straighter and extend your arms in front of you. And you'll start activating some new muscles. That's 5, I think. 6. And after that, all you got is to try your best to sit as deep into each side as you can. I think this is 7. Again, you can put your hands down. Give yourself a little bit of support. If you feel like you're falling backwards, you can do this against a couch. You can do this against a wall. And when you start falling backwards, your butt will touch the wall. And it'll give you a little bit of support. Cool? Here's 9. Last one. And 10. That is all of our Cossack switches. This couch is super convenient. I'm really liking this. From here, we are done with our warm-up exercises. If you're just joining for the first time, you're like, this is the warm-up? That's how this is starting? Don't worry. This is a stretching and mobility show. What we did was to warm our bodies up because it's wintertime, and we're trying to get our joints, our blood pumping, our heart pumping, our muscles warmed up, right? And now that they are warmed up, we can get into some stretches and get stretchy. Grab a sip of water, and if you can, grab a cushion for your knee. We're going to need it in just a second. I'm going to check the chat real quick. Eduardo, welcome back over on YouTube. Hector says, yes, I am. I don't know what you're responding to, but if I don't see your comments, is because for you to see my legs doing side splitty, stretchy exercise things, I gotta stand really far away from the camera. It's like 8 to 10 feet away. So a lot of the time, if you're commenting, I'm not gonna see it for a little bit. I need to finish whatever it is that we're doing, get my butt back over to the camera, and scroll around. So if I'm answering questions a little bit delayed, a little bit from a while ago, that's why. Rooney says, you make it look easy. That is because I've been doing some version of this live every day for over a year now. maybe 4, 5, 6 months has been on TikTok and YouTube, where you're finding me now. But we originally started on Instagram, and yeah, I've been doing this for a long time, and I've gotten a lot better at it over the course of a long time. And that's sort of the vision that I'm bringing to the live, hoping that people who join in, people who come hang out, are going to be able to be consistent a little bit more, right? My goal here is to show up on the internet, help you practice hip mobility, side splits a little bit every single day, because we're here at 9 p.m. every single day, and 9 a.m. because it's the weekends. On Saturday and Sunday, we're also here at 9 a.m. And the goal is to help all of us move a little bit better, make it easier for us to show up every single day, because there's something to show up for, there's a community to hang out with, and that's the spiel. So if that sounds cool, hit follow, hit subscribe. If it doesn't sound cool yet, stick along. We got more of the workout to do, and then you can make a decision later. Let's go. The first stretch that we're going to do is the hamstring stretch. I said go grab a cushion, go grab a pillow for your knee. I think specifically I might have said go grab some padding. Couch cushion will do. What we're going to do is rest our knee on it. So a little bit of padding is nice. It's not essential, but it's helpful. From here, we are going to extend a leg directly in front. This leg can go straight down, so you have the most support without using all of the other muscles in your hip. This leg, we want to stick directly in front, as far forward as we can. If your legs are too close together, you might struggle a little bit with balance, so you can open up those legs just a little bit, and I'll demonstrate what mine look like. If you want to see, this is probably too much, right? A little bit open is totally fine. From here, we are folding forward, and we're trying to bring the belly button down to the thigh. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Bring that belly button down to the thigh, your hamstrings, your calves. Maybe those are all tightening up, and you're going, ooh, okay, this is intense. That's good. That's fine. Take some normal breaths. Just relax as much as you can in this position, and all right. Next, we're going to do a big inhale, and then we're going to slowly exhale. And when we exhale, I want you to try your best to fold deeper into the stretch. All right. Inhale. Exhale and fold. Remember, this is coming from that belly button area. We're trying to bring the belly button down. The shoulder, the head, all that stuff, that's not really that important, because the stretch is mostly coming from the hips. All right. I hope you've taken some normal breaths while I was explaining that. And we're going to do one more inhale, exhale. Let's go. Inhale. Exhale. Fold. Try to fold yourself deeper into that stretch. And with that, we are set up. Let's go. 30 seconds. 30. 29. 28. 27. 26. 25. 24. 23. 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Oh, that is our hamstring stretch. That felt really intense. That's because we were really trying to push our legs down, or pushing our belly button down to our legs. Oh, okay. Bring that leg in. Switch over to the other side. And let's go again. Other side. Open the legs a little bit for balance, and bring the belly button down to the knee. Let's go. Take some normal breaths, relax as much as you can, and it's about to get intense. We're going to inhale and exhale. Inhale. Slowly exhale and fold. That's intense. Take some normal breaths. Chill. Breathe. We're going to do one more. Inhale, exhale. Let's go. Inhale. Exhale and fold. Okay, that's it. Let's go. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20. If you have a little bit of knee pain and a little bit of knee discomfort, you can slightly bend the knees. When you bend the knees, your hamstring stretch gets reduced, but you can bring your chest down to that leg first and then straighten out the leg at the end, and that will make it so that the painful part happens at the end instead of right at the beginning from the get-go. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Oh, that is our hamstring stretch. Whew. And if it was exhausting, if it was tiring, it makes sense. That was struggle. That was rough. All right, let's get rid of the cushion. You don't need it anymore. Oh, we're going to move right on into stretch number 2, the butterfly stretch. And it looks a little bit like this. We're going to sit on the ground. Relax for a second. Enjoy the floor. We're going to take our feet, bring them together, pull them into our body, and ta-da! Here we are. This is the butterfly stretch. So I recommend you do these with your back against something. In general, I prefer a wall because the wall will support your head, your shoulders, your low back, your mid back, and your glutes. When you're leaning against a wall, which I don't have, I have a couch, you'll be able to practice some nice posture, but also it'll keep you from falling backwards. The wall will support you. And we want that because oftentimes, for most of us, when you're getting to this position, you're probably desperately holding on to your feet and you're like rounding your back and you're trying to pull yourself down. And really what you want to do is just fall backwards. That is usually the case. And when that happens, you're focusing a lot of energy trying to just stay upright. And you're not able to focus nearly as much energy. Try to bring your knees down into the ground, right? So that's what the couch is for. That's what the walls are for. Is so that you can focus on keeping your back straight and opening up the legs. Cool? All right. So get your hips, your back, your shoulders, your head up against the wall. Bring your feet together. Bring them towards your groin. The goal of this stretch is actually to stretch out these muscles here. And the way you do that is you bring the knees down into the ground. So what I want you to do is I want you to use these outer thigh muscles, your glutes, to bring your legs down. So contract those muscles. If this is your first time and you're like, what muscles are those? I've never even tried this type of weird movement ever in my life. That's okay. As long as your knees are going down towards the ground or like they're twitching in the right direction, you're doing great. It's fine. You'll figure it out as we do more of these. From here, I want you to take your hands and I want you to apply a little bit of pressure onto your legs. If you have a wall behind you, it's going to be a lot easier. You're going to feel some pressure in the back of your shoulders and the back of your head when you push your legs down, and that's the wall keeping you from pushing yourself back. When you're here against the couch, you'll feel it in your low back, your mid back, wherever the couch hits your back, and it'll be a little bit less useful, but it'll still be good. Cool? That's it. Let's go. 30 seconds. 30. 29, 28. Remember, we're trying to open up the legs with our muscles and we're also pushing them down. 25, 24. And we want to feel the stretch here in the center of the groin area and sort of here in the adductors. 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Oh man, relax those leg muscles. Straighten out the legs. Oh, and that is our second exercise, our second stretch. We got 5 of these in total, and the third one we're going to do is going to be a little bit more challenging than this one. So let's get up and get ready to go. The third stretch that we're going to do is a standing pancake or a seated pancake. If I were facing you, it would look something like this. We start with opening our hips or opening up our legs decently wide. It should not hurt at the hips. If it's already uncomfortable and you're already feeling, ooh, this is weird, bring legs together. It's totally fine. The goal here is actually to fold forward and bring your hips into this position. If it looks like I'm just about to touch my toes again, we're about to do some thoracic extension, thoracic rotation, or some elephant walks, that is absolutely right. We're basically doing this. Everything that we do is pretty much focused on the hips folding forward. And so that is why we spend a lot of time working on those hamstrings. All right. From here, we're going to fold forward. Try to bring the belly button down towards the ground. And the entirety of the pancake stretch is this. Trying to fold and fold and fold and fold and fold so that your whole body is in between your legs. It's hard. It's crazy hard. This is a crazy stretch. So there's lots of different ways to start working on it. The easiest way, in my opinion, is to let gravity do a lot of the work. So when you're in this sort of position at this angle, gravity is pulling your head down, your chest down, your belly button down, your arms down, and you're getting a lot of stretch with the help of gravity. That's how I like to start things. Get as much help as we can. If your legs are tired already and you can't hold yourself up, or you've done a bunch of these lives and your legs are super tired because you've done the standing variation, we've got a seated variation. And it looks very much the same. You're going to seat your butt just on the edge of something. Make sure it won't slide out from underneath you. From here, we're going to open up the legs decently wide. Doesn't have to be crazy. You should be able to get it a little bit wider open because our hips are in a good orientation at the moment. And we're going to fold forward. Belly button is coming down towards the ground. You're trying to bring your head in between your legs. Reach your arms out in front of you. And that's the stretch. Cool. We're going to hold this for 30 seconds. I'm going to count us down and we'll be done. Let's go. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25. Bring that belly button down. 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15. If you started in the standing position, you can transition to seated. If you feel like seated is too easy, you can transition to standing. Do whatever you want. 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Oh, put your hands down. Come on out of that stretch position. If you did the standing one, your inner thighs might be struggling right now, and it might be really hard to get up. I recommend that you try a combination of bring your toes in, bring your heels in, bring your toes in, bring your heels in, bring your toes in until you're slightly in like a wobbly old man pose. And then slowly come back up into standing so you can kind of shake out those legs. If your inner thighs are tired, that makes sense. If your hamstrings are going, wow, that was intense, that also makes sense. Those are the two main muscles that we're working on when we do the pancake. And that's because your hamstrings attach just behind and below the knee and into the hips. So anytime your hips fold forward, they're getting pulled and stretched right here, because the bottom of your hips, where your hamstrings basically attach, kind of like end here, right? When you're straight up. But when you're bending forward, your tailbone, your sits bones, goes all the way up and back there. And that is exactly what you're feeling when you're doing that hamstring stretch. The further forward you fold, the higher your butt cheeks go up into the air in relation to where they start at the knee, the more intense that stretch is going to be. So doesn't matter if your legs are together and you're just trying to touch your toesies, or if your legs are apart and we're doing a pancake and we're folding. As long as your hips are folding forward, your hamstrings are getting stretched and they're going to be unhappy. And that's why we spend so much time doing hamstring stuff in the elephant walk with the hamstring stretch, so that when we get to this combination crazy exercise, our bodies are prepared. Okay, that is our third stretch, quite possibly the most intense one of the 5. We're going to get into something a little bit chiller, a little bit easier, and that is the figure 4 or the pigeon stretch. If you know exactly what you're doing, because you're a regular and you've done this a bajillion times, pick whatever you'd like, whatever you enjoy. I think we did pigeon 12 hours ago, so I'm going to do figure 4 right now. Cool? In the figure 4, in general, what we're doing is bring the leg across the body, like so, resting that ankle on the opposite knee. We're going to bring that leg up and our chest down to that leg. From the side, it looks a little bit like this, and the goal is to feel a stretch out here in the side of the glute and the side of the hip. You might also feel it in the hamstring when you bring the leg up. Just depends on how stiff or how achy or whatever your legs feel. The figure 4 you can do laying down, so it's a little bit more chill. And I guess technically in the pigeon you're also laying down, just on your chest's direction. From this lay down position, we are crossing the leg over, resting it on the knee, and we can reach our hands through the triangle around the leg and pull that leg into our chest. Oh man, I'm feeling in the hamstrings after that pancake. Whew, that's the stretch. That's basically the whole thing. Cool? What we're trying to do over the next 30 seconds is bring that leg towards our chest. Feel the stretch here in the hip. All right? If it gets too easy, you're feeling too chill, you're probably letting the leg go bye-bye. You want to bring it towards your chest. All right? Let's go. Ready? 30, 29, 28, 27, 26. Don't hold your breath. Remember to breathe. 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Whew. That is our figure 4 stretch. Hope you got a lot out of it, because now I'm feeling really tired. Take a second. While you're in this position, if you have the room, you can sort of keep your leg in that resting on your knee position, and you can keep both shoulders down and sort of let your legs drop to one side and the other. Give your low back a little bit of movement, a little bit of relaxation, get some rotation here in that low back. And enjoy this moment laying down after suffering in the pancake. Oof. All right, I think it's time to move on. Let's go. We're going back to the other side. We're going to cross that leg over to the other side and reaching our hands through and around, pulling that leg in towards our chest. Which direction do we have to rotate this time? There we go. Ugh. This carpet is not very grippy to the floor, so I'm just moving around and twisting it all over the place. From here, we're pulling the leg in. We're feeling that stretch here in the outer hip, maybe in the hamstrings. And if your knee is feeling sensitive and needs a little bit of support, you can cup it. Give it a little bit of support. You might be able to stick your knee into your elbow and give it a little bit of extra love like this. All right, let's go. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14. Remember to breathe. Don't hold your breath. 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Oh, relax. Let your body down. Chill. The main difference between the pigeon and the figure 4 is that gravity does most of the work in the pigeon, and usually we like that when gravity is doing a lot of the work. But the figure four, you have a lot more control with. You can tweak and adjust the angle of your hip, the angle of your knee, the angle of your angle of your ankle a little bit more easily, so you can figure out what positions give you the best stretch. And then you can take that information and go apply it to that pigeon stretch. Cool? That is our fourth stretch. And that means we are ready for some side splits. The fifth and final stretch that we're going to do is actually 3 rounds of 30 seconds of side splits. And if you've never done side split before, you've never set up one before, don't worry, I'm going to explain everything. We're going to walk through it together. I think this is a good time to take a break, grab a sip of water, because we got side splits coming up. And while we grab that sip of water, I'm going to check the comments. Number one tip for sprained ankle. I think in the first couple of days, give it some rest, and then as soon as you can, try to get it moving ever so slightly, and get it moving gently as much as possible, so that you can keep your body out of that sort of shocked, tense position, and keep it moving. It's sort of like when you have really sore muscles. If you start using them gently after they're sore, for a little bit, they'll be less sore, and then you can like do stuff after you're warmed up. It's not quite the same when you have a sprained ankle. You want it to be super, 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 super gentle, but a little bit of movement goes a long way to getting blood flow into that injury. The blood will help you recover and heal a little bit faster. So be gentle, keep moving, get the blood flow going, and hopefully that helps. When I say be gentle, I'm not saying like you should go walk around on that ankle and stuff. I'm saying like do some ankle rotations, get some movement going. And also doing ankle rotations and being very fine-tuned with your movement will tell you exactly what like angles in your ankle will hurt. So if you know very specifically like what hurts and what you can't do, you can temporarily at least, sort of hobble with your sprained ankle, but control the legs in a different way. If you know that it's this motion that hurts, right? Like the pain is on the outside, you might be able to focus on doing the opposite, and your little hobble will be a little bit less painful. A lot of people just ignore the whole thing and avoid it, and they're like, oh. So that might help. But that might also make it worse, because if you're just going to go around walking on that ankle immediately, that could not help. Okay, let's see. I'm scrolling through some comments real quick to see if I have missed anything. We got a question about how can I stretch my lower back. We can talk about that a little bit at the end. M Note says, do you have this on YouTube? Yes, we do have a YouTube channel, and this is also live on YouTube. We got a question from Team Titka that Travel with Roxy tried to get more question about. Skizmanda, welcome back. It's good to see you. I'm glad it was intense. Oh, we got a bunch of oh my gods in a row. I don't know when those came in, but I hope you guys are okay. All right, let's get into some passes. Grab that last sip of whatever you're drinking. We're getting ready to move. The first thing I want to talk about is relaxation. All right. When we are doing a lot of these stretches, you're going to run something called the stretch reflex. And basically, that's your brain going, whoa, 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 whoa. You've never been in this position. This position is dangerous. I don't believe that you can handle it. And usually, that's not a bad thing. It keeps you protected. It keeps you from doing things you're not supposed to be able to do. But when you're trying to get a little bit stretchier, you're trying to move a little bit better, it can get in the way. Typically, you know this is happening when you're like trying to stretch, and all of a sudden it gets really stuck and your legs are feeling super tight in the muscles. That's when the stretch reflex kicks in. And what we want to do a lot of the time is to just relax. Relax long enough that the stretch reflex goes, oh, I'm tired. We're chilling. You can get a little bit deeper into the stretch. There's other ways to cancel out that stretch reflex that requires contracting muscles and more intense stuff. We're not really working on that here in this live that we practice daily for consistency. But yeah, relaxation is super important to the muscles getting stretched. If you walk down a sketchy alley and it's kind of dark and you're like, this is a little suspicious, your heart rate goes up, you're getting a little bit more tense, you're like checking your surroundings, that kind of tension reacts through your whole body. You're not going to be getting side splits with that kind of tension, right? That type of anxiety. So I want you to take that principle of reducing stress, reducing anxiety, maximizing relaxation, and introduce it into this environment. That might mean you want a couple of soft things to land in if you start falling over to the side. That might mean maybe you want some extra tools so that you can feel stable, you can feel comfortable in every position that we get into. How do we do that, Ken? Well, first off, if you like cushions and you want to cover your floor full of cushions, be my guest. I got no problems with that. I won't even know. You don't have to tell me. Next up, behind you. This doesn't happen that often, but when you're trying to figure out the side split movement, you're just kind of adjusting your position. Sometimes you're like trying to sit up a little bit straighter. Sometimes you can lose balance and start falling backwards. If you're in a pretty high up position, if your butt slams into the ground, it's going to be really uncomfortable and it's going to make you not want to continue. That's not what we want. We want to make sure that when you fall backwards, you're protected, you're safe, so you're not worried about that when we're doing the stretch. So what I recommend is you start your stretches right in front of something. In this case, I have a couch, but generally I recommend the wall. And that's because when you have a wall, if you're standing 8 to 12 inches in front of said wall, if you start falling backwards, maybe your shoulder can hit, maybe your butt can hit, maybe your whole back will just land into the wall and you'll be like, oh, that wasn't so bad. My butt did not just fall 3 feet into the ground and really hurt. So, all of this was to say, to maximize relaxation and chillness, have some stuff keeping you safe. Cool? Like a wall, like a couch. From here, we're going to get into some side splits. Let's go. Open up those legs decently wide. Your hips should not hurt. So if your hips are already uncomfortable, bring your legs back in just a little bit until that pain is gone. From here, we're going to fold forward at the hips like you're taking a deep bow. Your belly button is pointing straight down into the ground. And from here, you should be able to get into a wider leg position. All right? So see if you can put your hands down and try that first. By the way, I recommend you stand like 8 to 12 inches in front of whatever you're going to be prepared to fall into. I'm a little too close, so I wanted to remind you the distance. From here, we want to externally rotate our legs. I'm going to scoot over to the side so you can see my leg a little bit better. And I cannot see. Yes, there we go. It's in the shot. Okay. From this position, we're externally rotating our legs. What does that mean? That means we're rotating the whole leg so that the heels are down, the toes are pointing up, and the knees are pointing up into the air. We're doing this for both legs, not just one. I only have enough room to show you one leg at a time. And this position lets you sit up a little bit straighter and maintain that hip orientation for you to get into a deeper side split. All right? When we are here, leaning forward on our hands, this is already the same angle. When we rotate this and then we sit up a little bit straighter, we're basically rotating backwards the whole body 90 degrees. And that means we're just already in a side split position. But in this one, where we're sitting up a little bit more, you can put a lot more body weight into your legs. Cool? All right. We were here with our feet down. We rotated our legs so that the toes are pointing up, the knees are pointing up, the heels are down. We're walking the hands back. We're putting all that extra body weight into our hips. We're feeling that stretch. We're doing a little wiggle from side to side. See if we can get a little bit deeper in the stretch. And that is it. We're holding this for 30 seconds. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right, walk your hands forward, bring your legs together. And Oh, we held that position for a really long time because I was explaining for so long. Take a break, relax, chill. If your hips are really tired, that makes sense. If your legs are really tired, that also makes sense. We're going to chill for a little bit, and then we're going to get up. We're going to shake out the tension that's in our legs, that's in our hips, so that we can reset as much as possible for side split number 2. All right. When you can, come back into standing, and we're going to start shaking it out. What we just did in the side split was put a whole bunch of tension into all of our muscles because we activated that stretch reflex we were talking about earlier, where the whole body is going, no, 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 you can't do that. And everything's feeling really, 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 really tight. To shake out that tension, to help us relax, we're going to do something that looks like some wiggling, some flopping, some jellyfish noodling, all right? It looks a little bit like this. Shaking out the leg, shake, 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 wiggle, 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 wiggle. If you have no idea how to get your ankles to relax and your calves to relax like this, we're going to start with something that looks like you're flicking water off your hands, off of your feet. All right, you just got out of a pool, out of a jacuzzi, and you're like, ooh, my feet are a little bit wet. How can I best use this water? I'm going to splash it into the eyes of my friends and my enemies and the people I'm teasing, whatever it is. And when you do this, you're trying to get them from really far away, right? You're trying to be inconspicuous. So you're going to lift that knee, you're going to whip that leg out. When you're whipping that leg out, the calves are relaxed, the ankles are relaxed, you're trying to get maximum speed. Whoopsh, whoopsh. All right? You're going to take that feeling, take this analogy, you're going to keep on shaking out that leg, then use less and less and less energy because we're no longer trying to shake water into the eyes of our enemies. And we're going to just shake out the leg. Nice and relaxed. You don't have to do this for very long. Usually your legs will be relaxed within like 10 seconds. You can move on. So same on the other side. The advanced or the beginner version is really flicking water off of your toes as far as you can. And as you get more comfortable with it, you don't have to work so hard. You're not flicking as hard anymore. Your enemies are much closer than you thought. And that's a funny sentence. Your enemies are closer than you thought. And we're going to shake out. Shake, 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 wiggle, 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 flop, 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 flop. The reason why this works is because if your muscles were tense, they were contracted, they were as tense as you were when you were doing side splits, you would be moving like this, like a robot, right? Like a robot gorilla. That's not what we're doing. We're flopping around, we're wiggling, we're shaking, and our muscles can only be relatively loose to do that. Cool? All right, that was kind of our legs. We're gonna do a little bit for our hips. What I recommend you try is to stand on one leg, put all your weight into one leg, maybe lean a little bit to the side, take this other foot, drop it just down on the big toe, on the ball of the foot, and I want you to rotate the leg in and out and in and out and in and out. If you're just learning how to use these muscles for the first time, which is normal, it's going to be a little bit more of a struggle. But as you get more familiar with these muscles, you can start doing this with little to no effort. And that's what we want. We want just gentle, relaxed movement. I want you to turn it into a dance. I want you to shake. And I want you to get all the muscles in your hip a little bit more loosened up. Cool? So we call this Stanky Leg Junior. Somebody yesterday, or I think 12 hours ago, called it Twist and Shout. And that's cool. Whatever makes it more fun for you to move a little bit better, that is all I care about. From here, you might notice that I have changed the leg position a little bit. Instead of starting like this and focusing on opening and closing your legs as much as possible, I'm just getting a little bit of movement here, or the foot at the side. My quad is basically moving from here to here, just gentle movement. As you get more comfortable with this twisty motion, your quads will start flopping and shaking all over the place. All right, and that's what we want. We want even more relaxation from the hip down to the upper half of your leg. And it'll look something like that. As you get more comfortable with this position and these movements, they'll come faster and faster. You will be able to do them without your leg touching the ground, and you don't have to have that figured out now. Just a little bit, and the basics is more than enough. Whew. That was the big spiel about side splits and the relaxation after. From now on, we're going to go a little bit faster because you don't need all this background information anymore. So let's get into some side splits. Stand in front of whatever you're prepared to fall into. Hopefully it's moderately comfortable and keeps your butt from slamming into the ground, open up your legs decently wide, fold forward. Put your hands down if you can. If you can't, you can use something like a yoga block to elevate your hands just a little bit. Open up your legs wide because you're now in a really good position for that side split. From here, we're externally rotating the legs, and I'll show you the other side. Your knees are pointing up. Your toes are pointing up. Your heels are down. From here, you should be able to drift into an even deeper side split. I want you to walk your hands back towards your groin, towards your hips, and I want you to try your best to almost sit back into this stretch. Do a little wiggle from side to side so you can get a little bit deeper into the stretch, and that's it. 30 seconds. Let's go. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26. If this stretch gets a little too intense for you, you can change up the angles just a little bit by leaning backwards, leaning forwards, and shifting where that pressure is. When you're sitting straight up and back, you might feel it more in your hamstrings. When you shift your weight forward onto your hands, you might feel it more in your adductors. And you need a combination of both, so it's fine to work on both at the same time. Cool? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. That is our second side split stretch. Walk your hands forward, bring your legs in underneath you. And if you need to kneel, if you need to crawl around, that is totally fine. Take your time. That is side split stretch number 2. We got one more to go, and that means we got some relaxation to do in between. When you're ready, come back up into standing. We're going to shake it out. Once again, we're starting with the flick water off of your toes, whipping your leg back and forth, trying to send the water as far as possible. Floppiness. And as you get more comfortable, relax, 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 relax. Let the ankle flop around. Let the calves flop around. Shake, 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 shake. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Other side. Let's get more relaxed. Shake, 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 shake. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. A couple of seconds on either side is plenty. The more familiar you get with this, the more you've trained your brain to chill out and relax on demand, the easier it will be. Next up, we got some hip stuff. Remember, we're leaning all on one side, putting just a big toe down, maybe the ball of the foot down. We're doing a little shake, little dance. Just getting a little bit of movement in that hip. 3, 4, 5 reps is plenty. You don't need to do that much. But if you want to turn this into a new skill, add it into the wiggle, the shake, the flop that we're doing, you can. Pick up the intensity, throw those quads around, and add a little bit more into the shake. You can also use those same muscles at the hip to have your legs flop around without your legs ever making contact with the ground. That's it. That is our relaxation. Let's get into side split number 3. Stand 8 to 12 inches in front of whatever it is that you're prepared to fall into, whether it's a wall or a couch or, I don't know, a door frame. That works. As long as you got something to fall into that will catch you, it'll do. From here, we are opening up the legs decently wide. Your hips should not hurt. If they do, you can come back in, because when we fold forward and we get into this angled position, you should be able to get as deep as you want. Or, you should be able to get much deeper. From here, we are externally rotating the legs, which means the heels are down, the toes are up, and the knees are pointing up. We're taking that orientation where we're able to open up our legs, we're rotating it backwards, and we're able to sit up a little bit taller at the same time. If you have a couch that you're doing this against, you might even be able to support yourself by putting your hands on that couch. From here, we're basically in position. This is the side split. If your hands are down and it's easy, you can do a little wiggle from side to side, see if you can get just a little bit deeper, and that's it. 30 seconds. Let's go. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17. If this whole time you've been doing things with straight arms like this, experiment with bending those elbows and see if suddenly a whole ton more weight drops into your legs and it gets way more intense. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All right, walk your hands forward. Oof, we are done. Bring your knees in. And if that was tough and you just needed to crawl yourself out of that position, that's fine. I can't judge you. I can't see you. So you do whatever you got to do. From here, we're taking a last break right before we do our last round of relaxation. We're going to follow that up with a couple of quick joint checks. Your joints should be fine if you're able to do the relaxation stuff and whip your legs around, but it's good to check. Make sure you're all set before you go back to whatever else you have to do today or before you go to bed. Let's go. Come on up and do some relaxation. Come back into standing and let's shake it out. Flick the water off the toes. Use that relaxed ankle, relaxed calf. Take that principle, drop it down, make it chill, shake it out. Shake, 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 shake. Flop, 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 flop. If you haven't been already so far, add your wrists in, add your arms in. This is gentle. We're just letting the muscles chill out, relax, because they've been supporting your body weight this whole time. And switch over to the other side. Remember, we're starting with that intense flicking the water off of our foot, trying to send it as far as possible, whipping the leg forward, using the relaxed ankle, the relaxed calf to whoosh, whip it as far as you can. Then take that principle, introduce it into something a little bit more chill, a little bit more floppy, a little bit more relaxed. Bring it down. If you lean to one side, you can let that leg just kind of flop here. You don't have to lift up that knee anymore. And same thing for the hips. We're going to lean onto one side, put just the big toe down or maybe the ball of the foot down. We're going to do a little dance. Shake out those hips. Give them some relaxation. And as you get more comfortable with this, you can pick up the pace. You can get that momentum flopping around. You can have your quads swing from side to side. And you can add that in without your legs even touching the ground once you got your muscles figured out. Shake out the legs, wiggle them, flop them around. They are relaxed. If they're not relaxed, if you feel like there's something else that you need, go ahead and do that. I know that I kind of like playing some hacky sack occasionally because I think that side glute needs a little bit of love. I don't know if y'all need it as well, but you can add that in if you like. I'm doing it. You can follow along. From here, we're going to get into our joint checks. All right. That's going to start with some hip circles. Just kind of hit all of these angles and see if there's anything that needs a little bit of attention, a little bit sore. Maybe your hamstrings are still very, very sore, and that's normal. I usually feel a little bit of a stretch here at the sides of the hip after the side splits, and I like to give them a little bit of extra stretch and extra love. With that, we're going to move on into some high knees, just real quick. Make sure your legs are working good. You will know that they are not working good immediately, so you don't have to do very many. Same with this. We're going to pop into a squat. I want you to fold your chest down towards your legs. I want you to bring your knees forward so that they're over your toes as much as possible. And you're going to feel an intense Achilles stretch, a tense calf stretch. You're going to feel pressure in your knees because your knees are all the way out here. And I want you to try your best to do a bit of a calf raise. All right, you can put your hands down on something for a little bit of support with balance. But if you're able to do all those things and come back into standing, you've got most of the main movement patterns in your body, or your lower body at least, totally good and ready to go. So we are ready to wrap up. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming in, practicing consistency with me today. We just did, how much time have we been going for? 64 minutes of live side split stretching and hip mobility work. We do this every single day at 9 p.m. Eastern, and on the weekends, which is today and tomorrow, we do lives at 9 a.m. Eastern as well. My goal here is to help you practice consistency, the number one quality. You can have the best plan, but if you can't follow through on it, does it matter that you had the best plan? No. So, number one quality, the number one thing we care about is consistency. My goal is to try and make it fun, to try and make it enjoyable, a little bit less full of suffering when we get on the floor and we get into these intense stretches. Cool? Second thing that I care about is community, right? At the end of the day, it's really hard to show up by yourself and stretch every single day. If you have a little bit of community, if you have other people that you know keep showing up, me here on the internet, people in the chat, becomes a little bit easier because now it's a part of your life. You got these other people who are suffering on the floor with you, right? The oh my gods you get to snicker about, and the oh my god, this hurts. That makes your own suffering a little bit worse, a little bit more bearable. What else we got? I try to bring good energy to the internet, and I hope you bring good energy into the chat so that we can help facilitate and build that little bit of community, that sense of camaraderie while we suffer on the floor together. And hopefully that combination of consistency, I fell backwards, my legs are tired. Consistency, community, and good vibes helps all of us make a whole bunch of progress in our hip mobility towards better movement and towards our side splits together. If that sounds fun, if you've enjoyed the live, hit follow, hit subscribe, keep hanging out, keep coming back, because we're here every single day, Monday through Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern. If you don't know what time that is, we started an hour and 8 minutes ago. So that time every single day. And on the weekends, so right now, in 11-ish hours, 10 hours and 50 something minutes, we have another live. This only happens on the weekends. It's 9 a.m. Eastern, and you're welcome to come. If you're a little sore, if you're a little tired because it's your first time, you don't have to come, but you can if you really want to hammer in that consistency right away. It's a cool place to be. I'll see you in a little bit. All right, with that, I'm gonna crawl on over, check the chat, check the comments so that I can answer any questions as they have come in, because I have not been very good at getting my butt to the camera so I can see what's going on today. Whew. Okay. I'm scrolling. Brandon says, thanks again, Ken. You're very welcome, Brandon. Welcome back. Thank you for being here. In Pursuit of Simplicity says, thank you. It's good to see you again. Welcome back. Wow, the arm bend really changed it. Absolutely. It's crazy how much, like, just holding your arm straight supports weight. And as soon as you bend the arms, they're like a lot less useful. So it puts push-ups into perspective, I'm scrolling down. Skizmanda says, it's my shins. I'm feeling it there. The shins, I'm feeling it there. I wonder if that came in when we were doing the side splits, or if we were doing the final move at the end here. If your shins are struggling when we're doing that deep squat position where we're checking our joint mobility, joint checks, then that is pretty normal. The tibialis muscle has to work pretty hard to bring your knee over into the stretch position, especially if your calves and your ankles are pretty tight. The tibialis muscle has to work pretty hard and has to contract to lift your toes up so that you can get into more of a position that looks like this, where your knees are over your toes. So when your shins are tight, you can do a combination of two things. You can strengthen your shins, or you can stretch out the calves. So yeah, let me know if you need tips for that. Ooh. If you're feeling the shins when we're doing the side splits, it could be because, and I'm not going to do a full side split because I can't get all of it on camera anyway. When you're in this position, maybe when you're trying to bring your toes up into the air, you're working a little too hard and your shins are contracting really hard, and that's why they're struggling. You should be able to, hold on, let me just make sure I know what I'm talking about. You should be able to sort of point your toes. It doesn't have to be so straight up into the air. This is the best case scenario if you can get it, and it's easier to demonstrate when your toes are pointing straight up into there. But if you let them relax a little bit and you point them at a slight angle, your shins should fire a little less hard, and that might be all the difference that you need to get into a more comfortable side split position. Cool? Yeah, it's not totally necessary for you to be at super strict 90-degree angles and have your toes pointing perfectly up. You don't need that. The goal here is actually in the hip, or rotating this leg back at the joint so that the thigh bone doesn't smash into parts of the hip bone. So anything that's happening down here in the calves and toes, it doesn't have to be so perfect. It's just a good marker of whether or not your leg is pointing in the right direction, doing the right thing. Cool? All right. Crawling back over. Oof. Oh, if you think I'm really flexible and I make this look easy, I promise you it's not easy. I struggle every day. Same as you guys. I'm just a little bit further along in the journey. And I'm also crawling around afterwards because my legs are so tired. Whew. Okay. Let's see what we got. Scrolling back through the chat. Ooh. I am scared to keep scrolling. Somebody wrote, this man is actually trying to help people. What's wrong with you guys? Okay. I see. Days of says thank you. We got a whole bunch of thank you. I had to do a couple of child's poses after a couple of these stretches. That is a really good point. Child's pose definitely helps you to relax your low back, and there are definitely moments where your low back is probably firing really hard. One of them is in the hip cars. This is our first warm-up exercise, and it looks a little bit like this. We're lifting the knee as high as we can. We're opening up that hip directly to the side, trying to get straight out this way. We're rotating the leg up, and then finally at the end, we do something that looks like this. We're extending the leg back, flexing the hamstrings, flexing the glutes, pulling it back and trying to lift this. If your hips are pretty tight, sometimes you're feeling a lot of that tension in the low back, and you might feel a little bit of a pinchiness in that low back. That's a perfect position for you to do two things. One, try your best to contract your abs a little bit, like your best get punched, so you're bracing for that punch, so that your low back doesn't get as involved in that stretch when you're trying to bring the leg back. But also, if you just can't help it right now, and you've already done the work to make your back a little tired, a little bit achy, you can definitely try your best to relax in this position. I think somebody in the chat did ask about how to stretch out the low back. In my experience with my low back injuries, the best thing that I have done has been to hang from a pull-up bar. This is not the easiest way to do it, but I think it has the deepest effect. When you hang from a pull-up bar, first, all these other parts of your body are going to lengthen and get long, but eventually you'll get to your low back, and because you got so much weight in the bottom of your legs, it will pull your low back nice and long and loose, and you're able to feel it. I had a bit of a squatting injury at this point, probably over 12 years ago, and the hanging from a bar really opened up the space in the low back and helped to relax. So I was doing some version of that like every 5 minutes. It was crazy. Anytime there was a chair that I could push onto the armrests to help lift my upper body so that gravity was pulling my lower body down and giving some space in that back, I was doing. That is not necessarily the best way to go about it, but it was definitely what gave me the most relief. Other people tend to recommend things that look a little bit like this, like draping your body over something and letting the low back relax. So if you go to a gym, there are a whole bunch of these machines where the goal is to work your glutes, work your low back, and you're sort of at this inclined position and you're just going like this, right? If you, instead of doing the exercise, just hang out and flop around there, maybe hold a weight while you flop around there, that will help your low back to relax. And if you're holding a heavy enough weight, it can help to stretch out that low back. Child's pose is very helpful. And depending on the type of your low back injury, the low back discomfort, most other things can potentially aggravate it or make it worse, and you just have to experiment and figure out what works for you and what doesn't work for you. I'm not going to be able to give you any specific advice because I don't know what your situation is, and I'm not a back health expert. So some other things you can do for your low back, especially if you're feeling discomfort when you're laying down, happens in the pelvis, right? If you have big glutes or something, or your back feels like it's floating up above the ground, like so, right? Sometimes that'll put a lot of pressure into your low back and make it very uncomfortable. So one of the things that you can do is basically shift your pelvis so that your low back is flat. If you do some Pilates, you'll know that this is often asked for and required in some of those moves. And what you're doing is basically taking your low back, putting it flush to the floor. When you do that, it helps to lengthen the low back and it gives you a little bit of relief if you're already feeling pain. If you're sleeping and you sleep on your back, you can potentially sleep with some pillows, some cushions underneath your legs to help lift this area into a slightly different angle, and that might give you a little bit of stress relief on that low back. For a lot of us, when we sleep, our butts get squished down, and there is quite a big space where I can do this with my hands. You can stick your arms all the way through, right, underneath your body. It might not be so easy if you have a really soft bed, but as you can see on the floor, it's not that hard for me to stick my whole hand through that gap under my back. And if you're able to tilt your pelvis just a little bit, you can take a lot of that stress out of the low back using just the pelvis. That was kind of a long, rambly way of talking about it. So let me know if that didn't make sense. Frequently, when we're sleeping and our beds are super soft or whatnot, it can cause your back to be uncomfortable overnight, especially because you spend so much time stuck in one position. So it might help if you are just getting out of bed to add a little bit more movement before you actually get out of bed, because your back just needs a little bit of movement, a little bit of warm up, a little bit of love before it goes through the rest of the day with you, right? If your low back is struggling, then again, I recommend you work on something that looks like this, where your low back is tucked underneath, like if it's flat to the surface underneath. Maybe you can do a couple of knee raises, nice and gentle, to get some of those muscles moving a little bit. You don't have to do crazy things. You don't have to like tuck your legs in and do anything super intense for the muscles, right? You just want a little bit of movement to wake up the spine and get a little bit of movement going so that when you get out of bed, that first thing when you're going, your back isn't going crazy. All right? You want your back to be warmed up with something easy and comfortable that you can totally control in a controlled, soft, squishy bed environment before you start trying to jump out of bed and going, the first thing my back did today was get out of bed and it sucks. So yeah, if your low back is giving you issues because you're stuck in a position like in the bed, sleeping for 6 hours, then adding a little bit of gentle movement right before you get out of bed might really help to waken up and relax some of those muscles before you have to do something intense like actually getting out of bed. Whew, that was a long ramble about back and child's pose. I hope that was useful. Kilrin says, instructions unclear, I just broke my ankle now. Thank you. You're very welcome. I hope your ankles recover quickly. Kilrin says, thanks. Okay. Number one tip for sprained ankle. Ooh. Okay, that's what that was. I hope your ankles have recovered from that pain. I don't know if the sprained ankle is going to recover for more than, like within 2 weeks, but if you shook your ankles a little too aggressively just now when I said get some movement in, that can definitely hurt, but it shouldn't hurt for that long. Hopefully your ankle is not swollen like a tomato right now, and you're okay. Oops. Okay. I'm gonna scroll back down to the bottom and see what else is going on. Laying spinal twists help me too. Yes, absolutely. We are slowly trying to add that in after the figure 4 stretches. A little bit, a version of it, right? When we're doing the figure 4 and our legs are crossed up like this, if your shoulders are both down and you try to keep them down, you can kind of drop your legs to one side and the other side. Ow, that's a couch. That hurt my knee. And you can get a nice stretch in the low back using some twisty stuff. You can do this on either side. because we do figure four on both sides. And you might feel a little bit of a stretch in the glutes at the same time. So it works, the figure four and the pigeon all at the same time. But you don't have to do it that way. You can just pull that leg over, look back the other way, and this will actually probably hit a slightly higher spot in your back. Not so much your low back, but it might, just depending on the angles that you work on and what you're trying to hold still. Whew. Okay, let's see what else we got. When I am kneeling and I have my foot flexed, I get a lot of pain in the arch of my foot. Why? Interesting. Hold on. Let me think about this. When you are kneeling and you have your foot flexed, why does the arch of your foot hurt? Okay, let's try it. What's going on? When we are kneeling and the foot is flexed, the arch hurts. Why? I would imagine is because your arch is getting stretched out pretty intensely right here. And if you touch your foot in this foot flexed position, you could probably feel how tense the muscles are right here in the arch. You might feel that there's actually some tendons, possibly, maybe that's a muscle, running across the bottom of your foot. It could just be your foot is not used to that position and hates it that you're there right now, so that this just needs a little bit of training. It could be that you've been using your foot a lot today, took 20,000 steps, and your muscles are a little bit tired. Now when you're in this position, they're unhappy with you. It's hard to say exactly what is the source of that discomfort, but when you are in a kneeling position and your foot is flexed like this arch that you're forming is probably unnaturally arched. So it is going to be a more extreme version of whatever it is that you're used to when you're standing, right? So if you don't spend a lot of time in this kneeling, foot flexed position, this is definitely going to be a stretch. And if that's the reason why it hurts, that kind of makes sense. Cool. Okay. What else we got? Oh, okay. I thought I had to be straight up the toes. That's probably why. Yeah, that is totally my fault. I could explain it a little bit more clear. I go out of my way to exaggerate some of these positions so that it's very clear what is happening. And I can definitely spend a little bit more time saying, you don't have to work nearly as hard trying to get these crazy angles. Because it'll make life a lot easier for you if you don't. But it's important that we try our best to rotate the leg, right? Because that rotation is important for getting the thigh bone to not smash into the hip bone. Do you need to go as extreme and rotate as far back? Probably not, but everybody's hip is a little bit different. So when I demonstrate, I go out of my way to show sort of a intense version, or as intense as I can hit, right? I'm not ultra ridiculously flexible. I'm just a little bit further in the journey than you guys. Some of you guys. Okay, that I think is most of the comments. Oh, we got a comment. Toe squats are super intense. I almost can't do them. I don't know what toe squats are, but I'm going to guess that you're talking about something that looks like you're on your toes and you're doing some squats, something like this maybe. And I don't know. When you start training a new muscle, especially when they're smaller, weaker muscles, right? Your quads, your glutes are some of the biggest muscles in your body. But when you're starting to do things that require just your toe muscles, your calves, your ankles, your feet muscles to put in a lot of effort, it's always going to be challenging because your small baby muscles need a lot of help to get strong enough to do the new thing that you're trying to do. All the other muscles, probably, when you're transitioning and adding in a new form of squats, the big muscles probably know exactly what to do, and they got plenty of strength because you've been training them for that type of movement for a long time. But when you add in a new variable, that new variable is a ton of tiny little muscles, like using your feet in a particular way, in a different way, can be hard. That is totally normal. It's from yoga. Ooh, maybe I'll go Google it. Makes sense. Appreciate the answer. It was only my second time. A toe squat is just down on your knees, but putting pressure on your toe. Oh, okay, interesting. Okay, so this is the toe squat. Interesting. Okay, so What's really cool is that position is just a really gentle way to stretch out your toes, right? Like you can get into that same position with your toes going really far forward from a variety of different positions. This is just way less stable than if you're in a kneeling position and pushing forward. You can do some version of this against the wall. I don't have a wall to demonstrate with. The bottom of the couch is air, so that doesn't work. But if you imagine that this is a wall and not a yoga block, you can do a version of that stretch by bringing your toes to the wall, right? You can also do a version of this where you get a little bit of a calf stretch at the same time as you squish the toes to the wall. And this is probably actually the exact angle that your kneeling position is in when you are working from that kneel position for the toe squat. If you like calf raises a lot and you like to do them, at some point you can actually just be on your super tippy toesies and be working on maybe not as intense a toe squat, but that extra mobility definitely helps you to hang out in that type of way. I have known some ballerina dancers, not like professional ballerina dancers, but like students of ballet who have such ridiculous toe flexibility that they can walk around and like glide around with their toes pointed the other way, like that. Except I don't have enough flexibility to even demonstrate how far back their toes go. Like it's at this joint where it connects to like the foot. So they're able to fold this so far back and it's so stable that they can just like kind of flop around, like like just kind of drag their feet around behind them, and it's like comfortable. So the adaptations that the human body can make, especially the toes, are absolutely crazy. I don't really understand what the benefit of that is, but I guess technically it'd be the same as, wait, how many joints we got in the toe? One. It'd be the same as if their foot was like this and they were just walking around like this, sliding across the floor. And I was always slightly grossed out, but deeply impressed by the flexibility of that foot to be able to do crazy things like that. Anyways, I don't know where I'm going with this, so I'm gonna keep on scrolling. Ouch, I can't imagine. Yes, it's intense. It's from yoga. Awesome. Okay. I think, yes, we have another class later today. And today for me, because I'm in a different time zone, I'm traveling. So it'll still be today in 11 and a half hours. No, 10 and a half hours. But for all of you guys in the US, in 10 and a half hours, it will be the morning and it will be 9 a.m. Eastern. We got our second live in 10 and a half hours ish. And I hope to see you there. Let's see, what else we got? AJ says thanks. Those are the toe squats. When I'm kneeling, that is the ankle. Leg spinal twists. I think I have covered most of the recent chats. If you asked a question and you're still on and I skipped your question for some reason, let me know. It's not on purpose, I swear. I just have lots of notifications and I'm trying to scroll fast through them so that there isn't a huge giant pause in the video as I read, and sometimes I miss some things. I think I've read all of these before and I've responded to all of them, so I think we're good. Scrolling all the way back down, Dave DayXO says, have a good night. Bye. Blessings. Biceps and hands and biceps and hands. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you for coming in, practicing consistency, hanging out for the Q&A. I hope you enjoyed the workout. I hope you're feeling like you're a little bit more stretchy, and I hope you're excited to practice a lot more consistency, because that's what this show is all about. Coming in, putting in the work, making it a little bit more fun, making it a part of your life, hoping that we can all make a bunch of progress towards better hip mobility, towards better movement, towards the side splits together. Hope you had fun, and I hope to see you in like 10 and a half hours. If not, like 22 and a half hours. I'll see you soon. Bye. And now